understand that this class is a theory class, okay? So we will not have any coding to do, but this is something like an elective subject to you. So this is called as design thinking and critical thinking, where it will help you out trying to understand, to deal with the startups and other things, okay? So, and also this is pretty much required, especially the people who are following the path of data science, data analyst, and so. So without further any delay, let us start with it. Okay, so what happens here is that I have a single screen here, so I will not be able to look at your chat. Okay, so kindly make sure that you keep the chat to the end of the session where you can ask me any doubts or anything of that sort. So I'm going to share my entire screen to you. Kindly look into the screen and we will follow up. Okay, so there might be some questions or anything of that sort. So under those circumstances, I might switch back to the chat where you can answer and let me know. Okay, so let us make it an interactive session as well as a learning session. So let me share my screen to you. I'm going to go to share my screen here. Okay, so this is my screen and I hope it is visible to you all, right? Okay, thank you. So now, first and foremost thing, so welcome to the master session where we will talk about the design thinking and critical thinking. So design thinking and critical thinking are two major pillars that we need to understand as an engineer. Okay, so these subjects are actually inculcated to some of the engineering students, probably in their semesters, right, first semester or even in the second semester. So there are things that would be running up, but still we have a bit more things like critical thinking. Okay, so let us see. So what are the things that we are going to have a discussion on, try to understand is we have divided them into the 4 units here, as you can see. So what is design thinking? What exactly is design thinking and how it is going to help us out with respect to the sustainable industries, right? And also coming to the integrating AI and design thinking, sustainable ideas. So these are all the things that we are going to cover up in this particular session. Now, so let us try to understand what exactly the design thinking is all about and how this will help. But before that, we want to know what are the learning objectives, like what you're going to learn, right? So I'm going to say like these are the learning objectives. So this will really help you out to design influence based on the user experience. Whenever you start a company, you need to understand that everything is based on the user experience, right? Say for example, Apple, Samsung, whatever the mobile devices that we have on our hand, right? So what they think is they think in our shoes, right? So basically they will try to understand that, okay, the user is expecting something like this. What if his budget is this? So what he's expecting, whether it should be a touch screen, right? Whether it is a capacitive or resistive screen. So what should be the battery for gamers? So all those things, right? These are the user experiences that we actually made. So analyze and compare the practical examples, right? Whether there are products that are poorly designed. There are a lot of products that are poorly designed, especially when you go to the kids park, right? So anything that you see there, sometimes we might feel that those, the playable things that are available there, sometimes they are too sharp or too blunt, and sometimes they are very rigid in nature. Like I'm just giving you an example of like poor designs that we can actually look into, and that is where we can think about an alternative design and come up with some good designs. So articulate the importance of design thinking and structure, right, in the most innovative and most problem solving way. So back in old days, we used to walk a lot, right? Because we never had automobiles. Then came some kind of like manual rickshaws. Then it was improvised into auto rickshaws, like automatically it moves, right? So based on burning the fuel, now we have electric. So there are lots of things that basically when we started to have some problem, we tried to solve the problem and came up with some innovative and some kind of inventions, right? So those are the things that we're going to look. And most important thing is what you can see here is that there are 5 stages of discussions that we need to talk about. So what are those 5 stages? The 5 stages basically emphasize, especially as a design thinker, is empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So this is what we are going to do. So Theodore Levitt basically says that creativity is thinking up new things, whereas innovation is doing something new, right? So this, the code basically tells us a lot of things. Now, you can let me know like what exactly is creativity to you, and what is invention, and what is innovation, like in your own words, right? 1 or 2 students, or anybody who's interested, you can just put them in the chat. That will help us out, like what exactly you're thinking, right? So what do you feel when the word creativity comes into picture? Is it always creativity means it is always new things? Or it is old thing, but refurbished in a very different way, right? Or whether it is an innovation is doing new things. Is innovation always doing new things, or is it something that we are developing, right? So it's like food for thought for you. You can just let me know in the chat. It might help us out understanding like what exactly you are thinking about it. So this is the one of the quotes that we have taken from Theodore Levitt, and I have explained that to you right now. If at all, if we were given, if you were given with papers and markers, okay, can you choose a product to design, and what could be the product that you might design? What, why do you want to design, right? So there are certain things that we really want to say. Now, sometimes what happens is that when we are holding the mobile phones, okay, sometimes there are some people where their hands get too sweaty at time. So the phones which are silicone, right? In the phone cases which are silicone in nature might slip. So there was a problem. So how do you alter that? So that could be a new design, right? So you can put that in the market and come up with something. Even the water bottle, for example, if you have like there are many water bottles, one made up of steel, one made up of copper, you have plastic, and then you have some for sports activities, you have zippers, right? So why did they come into picture, and what was the reality behind it? How did it really help us? So these are all the things that you need to think of. And more importantly, why am I emphasizing this is because we have something called as ABCD. So what is this ABCD? So this is anybody can design, okay? It's not anybody can dance, it's anybody can design, especially for here in this particular subject, where if you have faced any problems, obviously you'll come up. See, if I just open the chat, if I let you know, you would have written a lot of things by saying like, sir, I would like to design something like this. I want to have a bottle where it shows us, like, obviously there are some things in the market, but still I'm saying, like, it shows us the temperature, it shows us what number what number of or the quantity of minerals that are present there, right? So something creative, something new, something that helps us out maintaining it up. So you can do that, and you can let me know in the chat, and if possible, like, we can at the end of the session we can discuss about it, so that if something new has come up, obviously that will be really appreciated, and you always have an added advantage because of your creativeness there, right? So I'm just going to give you a minute or two. You can just think about like what is the one thing that you want to design as a, take a product you want to design, or you want to change design for there. So try to boggle yourself, think about it, brainstorm about it, and let me know in the chat. Okay, so okay, old thing with new thinking. Okay, good. Creative thinking, different. Yeah, creativity is thinking different, unique, and best. Invention, building a thing which was never built. Okay, good, very good. Making the inventions better, like keypad, phones to touch, right? Example, yes, very good. Hanuman has given us a very good example there. And am I not audible? I mean, like everyone gave me thumbs up there. I was audible to all, right? I mean, I'm getting answers obviously. So creativity is doing something new, innovative, right? Yes, good. Improvisations of ideas. Okay, good. Thank you, Dulari. Yes, right. So yes, you can think about that. You can design it and let us know probably in the imagine a designer thinks of smart jacket that can adjust its temperature automatically based on the weather. Yes, that's creativity. Good. And innovation is when they have implemented the creative idea into real world product with value. Good, very good. Mary Thomas says, I would like to improve the iron box in which modified version would include a sensor to where is it, to identify the type of material we are. Yes, okay, good. That's a very good thinking. Yes, that is required, right? We have some copper plates that is attached to the most of the iron boxes. So what if there is a particular sensor that can sense like whether the fabric is silk or cotton, or probably it might be woolen, right? So that's a good thing. Good implementation of new idea. Yes, pretty good. So all good answers here. Okay, so okay, we'll go back to uh, the slide here, right? So the next slide is all about analyze and understand the importance of real world design. Now I've got a very simple question to you all. Now when you look at, okay, so let me take my pen here. So when you look at this, okay, it's a book. Now, often when we see the books are rectangular in shape, right? Why is it? Why is it designed like this? Why not square? Why not circular, right? Why not that? And why is the pen designed in this particular way? Try to think about that, anyone, right? Why is it bottle always cylindrical in nature? So it often, uh, you know, makes us to think that the bottle is always cylindrical. Why is it like that? Why not there could be some rectangular bottles? And look at this plane. So this is where we're going to call this as a fuselage, right? So we have the fuselage, we have the gas turbines over here. Why did they design like this, right? Why there is a nose tip here, right? So why the rudders are there, right? So why are there flaps over here? Why? What was the necessary? And why is it like we have been seated in this particular way? So try to think of it. Can some of the students volunteer and answer me like why book is rectangular, right? Or why not circle or square? Okay, so I think I've got some answers here. I'll go back. Water bottle easy usability. Like, have you ever taken the water bottle where which was square or something, and did you feel any kind of uneasiness like while handling it, right? Yes, one of the students say highest volume. Good. So that's kind of a good answer, right? Large area for book, right? For handling. So what about square, right? It could also mean to be handled easily. Plane design is based on bird fly mechanism. Yes, we call them as aerodynamic, right? Good. Books are rectangular because they stack neatly on shelves, okay, and feel comfy to hold while reading. Okay, so what if it was square, right? Would you feel that? I mean, we have seen some books which are square also, right? So the what do you say? The sizes below, I guess A5 and A6 sometimes it might be in the square, right? So think of that. Pens are cylindrical with a pointy tip to fit with the well in the hand. What if it were to be something different? Bottles are cylindrical for strength. Okay, that's a very good answer. Good. Easy gripping and steady pouring. Yes. So this answer is really good. Good. To maximize space. Yes. Good. Standards to create efficient, most efficient to use for user. Bernoulli's law for airplane. Good. So let us forget the physics first. Okay. So let us just imagine like why is it required? So we basically try to copy that was there from the nature, right? One of your friends actually told us like we are copying it from the bird, right? Convince. Good. Rectangular shape matches the natural way of read left to right, top to bottom. My rules left. Okay. So biomimicry copied from birds. Good. Good. So lots of good answers. Very good, guys. Yes, while landing notebooks. Yes. Yes. Good. Okay. So everyone's like very brilliant here. Very good. Good, guys. So these are the real world designs that we obviously have right now. So let me clear this all. And now I have a video here. So I'm going to play it. So you can let me know whether you are able to hear that out or not. Okay. So
Design strategy is about thinking differently.
okay, were you able to hear that? Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna go back here and play this one. I mean, like what happened to this?
Design strategy is about thinking differently, putting yourself in your customer's shoes to design solutions that not only fit their needs but delight them by empathizing through observing people in real life scenarios like shopping, or through open-ended interviews to uncover what people do rather than what they want. Because if you ask people what they want, they don't necessarily know. By immersing yourself in your customer's world, you can understand their needs, gains, and pains. How? 1. Empathize. Immerse yourself in your customer's world. 2. Define the non-obvious insights. 3. Ideate. Brainstorm solutions. 4. Prototype. Build an MVP, minimum viable product, of ideas in the shortest possible time. Then take those prototypes back to your customers and ask what they think. Design strategy starts with the customer, then offers the solution, not the other way around. For example, an Australian supermarket chain wanted to design a unique, engaging in-store experience to further set them apart from competitors. So we followed their customers around, interviewed them, and watched what was happening in store over a considerable period. Customers wanted to feel more connected with the suppliers of their produce, an in-store experience they couldn't find elsewhere. One of the winning ideas was an in-store milk dispenser with old-style glass milk bottles. Customers fill the bottles with single origin high-quality milk. They can see details of the cows and farms that produced it, with assurance the suppliers receive a better price. This experience delights customers and is very successful across stores. If we had asked what customers wanted, they probably have said cheaper produce. But by empathizing, living, and observing, we developed an idea that not only excites customers, but gives the store a unique edge by connecting with customers' hearts and minds.
Okay, so what you saw, this short video, is the one which basically talks about the 5 different things, right? So we talked about, we looked into the empathize, define, ideate, and prototype and test. So empathize is something like to be in the shoes of a customer, right? So we have a user who wants to, like, just imagine that someone wants to buy a mobile phone. So as a manufacturer or as a creator of it, I should understand what exactly the user is intending to use it, how he wants to use it, and more importantly, he should know that what motivates him to use the product for a longer period of time. So being in the shoes of the user is to empathize. Define means to define the problem. So what kind of a problem statement you have? Like I want to create I want to manufacture a new mobile phone. I have the challenges like Apple, Samsung, LG, and other people. So how well I can put everything in the market. So in that particular sense, or in the way where I want to make sure that the people who are already using the product should come to my product. Not only that, second thing is they should feel that this is more important. So that is what we're going to do. So for that, we need to figure out what kind of a problem statement we have. And next is we're going to ideate it. So ideation is nothing but where you're going to create ideas, right? So say, for example, like we have somewhere around 400 plus students here, right? So I'll try to divide 100 students each, and then I'll try to ask them, we'll make a group of 100 and we'll try to ask them to come up with some ideas, right? So I want to produce a new mobile phone, and this mobile phone has to be like within the budget. It has to have a good camera, it has to have a good battery, right? So there are lots of things, but what majorly interests the users over there, as a students, you can specify and say like, sir, I want to have camera of 50 megapixels. Why exactly students want to have that? It's probably because they want to capture the documents in the most highest quality, right? So all these kinds of idea has to be generated. So this process is called as ideation. So next is prototyping. So what is this prototyping? So prototype is nothing but to build up a mock-up. Okay, so to build a mock-up means like it may not necessarily be a functional one, but it could give us an idea of thinking that, okay, so this is how an idea like a phone would look like. I can create it with the help of a cardboard or a piece of paper, and I would say like, okay, this is how it's going to look, guys. So what are your inputs? So I can say that. So next one is where we can have something called as MVP. So I think you look into that particular word, minimum viable product. So this may not be a functional element, but this can be used to test it. Okay, so we will show this to first and foremost the people who are working with us. Like, okay, this is the new product that we have done, guys. So what are your inputs? So the people will use that. So we call this as in-house testing, and later that. So this is usually called as an alpha phase, right? And later we're going to create something like a beta phase where sorry about that. The customers or other people who really are interested to do the testing, so they can do that. And more importantly, what we are doing here is we are gathering, okay, the feedback to assess how effective the product that we have generated, right? So that is what we are going to do. And now this is a particular cycle where we start with the empathize, right? And we're going to go for define, ideate, prototype, and test. So there are certain circumstances where what we do is that once we go to define, so there might be certain situations where instead of ideating, okay, since we have already done it, we can move for the prototype also. So there are certain changes that we can actually have. So this is particularly flexible, and majorly design thinking is a user-centered approach. Whatever the innovation, whatever the design we are doing it for the case of user. So it is a user-centered approach. Okay. So next is the design thinking tools. So what are the design thinking tools we have? Like as you can see here, we have the interviews to understand the user. Now what we can do is that we can have one-to-one interviews to make sure they user, whatever the insights the user has, we're going to grab it, and we can do some surveys to understand. Like we can prepare some questionnaire, collect the quantitative data among it, and try to take that. We can observe, right? So this particular environment, how the users basically feel that. So that is an observation skill, and we can have some empathy maps. We can use also the user personas there. Now, when it comes for the defining, so when it comes for the defining, we have to clearly articulate the problems in the very concise way, so that we will be able to guide it, right? So guide the designing process. A point of use. So all the point of views are nothing but the user-centered approach. Okay. Next one is ideate. So ideate is nothing but kind of brainstorming, right? So we are going to try to understand like how exactly this is going to work. What would be the lots of answers that we can get. We are not going to judge any ideas. If someone says like, you can have you can try a phone of like 7 or 7.5 inches. So we will not be surely able to judge it, saying like, okay, that will be really huge. So we can go for somewhere around like 5.5 to 6 point, I guess 6.7 is what we have right now, right? So we can go something like that. No, we are not going to judge it. So we're going to welcome all those ideas, and we will try to create the mind map, right? So there are many techniques such as like scamper, like scamper stands for substitution, combination, adaptation, modification, put to another use, elimination, and rearrangement. So these are all the techniques that I can basically use and try to understand. And more importantly, so As you can see here, we have the sketches. Okay, so there are the prototypes that can have low fidelity and high fidelity. So high fidelities are the ones where they look really good. Okay, so they might meet up to the real world sizes, scaled up. Okay, very neat to use. And there are some cases where we will have the prototypes where we have the smart sketches over here, right? So this is basically about a bike, right? So someone has an idea like we could create something like this. So it could be electric in nature, or it could be using the petrol fuel, something like that. So these are the things. So next comes the probability, where how to test it. Okay, so usability testing. Is it really worth interacting with the prototypes, gathering the feedback, understanding the user and his or her experiences? We can do some A/B testings, right? So comparing two versions of it, like you have the option A and option B here. So some people will say like, okay, option A is working really well, and the rest would say like option B is working well. So there are chances. So whichever has the more number of percentages of having more number of positive responses, so we can go with that, or we can imbibe these two together and come up with very good models also. Okay, so these are the different design thinking tools that we have. And yes, as I already said, design thinking is an user-centric approach. It always means that we fixate onto the user, how the user experiences it and how he wants it. And we can have this collaborative nature also. What is this collaboration? Collaboration means teamwork, to bring in together the people from the diverse backgrounds, right? So it's not only that we are trying to say like, okay, I'm going to have the people only from India. I can like go outside. So from some foreign countries, get their feedback and all, right? Have the collaborative work. And most importantly, what kind of an innovative work you have. So the most important thing whenever we are designing something, we need to have a small tinge of innovation, or otherwise what will happen is that people will say like, you already have so many mobile manufacturers, and how are you going to, fight with them, or you're going to survive in this particular era. So this is where critical plus creative thinking process comes into picture. Now, as a very small example, like I want to give you, you have seen the Delhi Metro, right? It's a very user-centric design. It takes into the consideration of the needs of the diverse population it serves. Like this could be like multiple language announcements, accessibility features for the differently able people, and there is something called as women-only cars, right? So this will give us a lot of things that we are basically trying to look into the user-centric designs. Okay, so I think I was able to help you out with the design thinking example with that. Next, we'll have a very small hands-on session, right? So just like the previous one, I'm going to ask you the questions. So observe these. Okay, now this is where we have to think critically. So I think most of you have seen the basketball, volleyball, rugby ball, soccer ball, right? So soccer ball, we usually call it as football, right? And we have the baseball, tennis, golf, and beach. Now, what is the thing that you need to reflect on is, why is it like this? Why is the color different? Why is the material different? And more importantly, why? What is the thing? Most important thing is about the size. Can anyone let us know about that? Okay, where did it go? Okay, so let me pull this up here. Huh. So to classify in them, okay, good. Tennis ball is too small. Where did it go? Yeah, light and bouncy for rugby, rough play, gripping needed. Yes, exactly right. So a person basically holds onto a rugby ball. It needs to be grip. So often it's like kind of made of leather, right? Or a faux leather, for example. Good. Yes, size because of the speed, right? To vary the speed. Different purposes. Okay, even based on rules of the game. Okay, now rules of the game only started after we got an idea about the balls right here. Due to the unique demand of each sport, okay, weight difference, it helps into bounce, racket, rest, good. Due to uses different shapes and sizes for different purposes, depend on the demand, good. According to the students, I ask you to kindly concentrate to the master class which we are discussing here. I can see many of the students are discussing about the data set and other things. So this is not the way how the students have to interact. I have already told you we can do that at the end of the session. So kindly concentrate here. So each ball has its own speciality. A tennis ball cannot be used as a rugby ball, right? Good. Colors are chosen based on the venue and sports take place in, right? So it relies on some visibility. Good answer about that. All of them possess different shapes, lead to challenge, change in grip and moving speed. Good. Soccer ball is black and white to make it easily visible on the ground. Good. Very good. Yes. Yes. A lot of good answers. Basically all the balls for one, right? But different balls in the different games, typical material on the board. Yes. Good. So a lot of good answers. Good guys. So when you think about it, when you observe it, a lot of answers came, right? So this is your brainstorming sessions that what we are trying to carry out here. So we'll now go for the next one, which is called as sustainable products and the design thinking. So what are sustainable products and how we can inculcate the design thinking there? So we got an idea about the design thinking. Now just look at this one. This is a single-use plastic, right? So while making sustainable and unsustainable choices, here there we have taken some unsustainable practices that cannot be continued indefinitely. Now, do you really think that we have to carry these plastic bags, okay, right, to purchase something like, say, for example, fruits or vegetables or anything of that sort? So these single-use plastic bags are banned for a reason. Now, this is not good for the nature, right? So anything that we use against the nature will become unsustainable, and that's not a good thing. So instead of the plastic bag, can anyone tell me like what can be used? We can go for any alternatives for that. I guess these days we also have something called as biodegradable plastics, right? So these are the important things that we need to understand. And look at this one, very important. I want to emphasize on the one where we are using synthetic chemicals in the agriculture. So in the agriculture, we are trying to use the synthetic chemicals. What if I were to tell you that we can use biochemicals, where it is safer for both plants as well as the people who are consuming or the animals which is consuming, right? So that we need to change. What about water conservations, right? Do you really think that we can do this? We can go towards the water conservation, change the agricultural chemicals, you do not use the plastic bags, right? And we come out of something called as monoculture farming, like only single crop is usually used for a large piece of land, where it will actually deplete the soil nutrients, reduces the biodiversity, right? So there are lots of things that are there which are unsustainable practices that we have in our communities. Now, what are the best thing that we can do here in order to promote the environmental conservations resource efficiently is, I'm going to say 3 R's. What are that is reduce, reuse, recycle. So these 3 R's helps us to minimize the waste, conserve the resources by using the materials and recycling the product, right? We can do that. And we can also look into something called as composting, right? Turning organic waste into like the ones where we get the once you get the compost, it can enrich the soil, it can reduce the landfill waste, it can lower the greenhouse gas emissions. The projects which you are doing basically are the ones which are talking about the sustainable practices also. That is the very reason we are using the artificial intelligence and to promote these through the sustainable practices, which is green skills. And these are the ones that they're going to ask you. Okay. Now, most important thing. So I think most of you might know the United Nations, right? United Nations in 2015 actually established like 17 goals here. So this is like, say for example, no poverty, zero hunger, right? Something like this. So there are like 17 SDGs. SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goals. Now, why is this necessary? Because this is necessary only when you cut this down, we will be able to move ahead towards the sustainable development, or otherwise it will be really hard. And this is a pressing matter right now, and we are thinking about by 2030 we need to have a sustainable future, or otherwise it will be very kind of a huge problem that we'll be facing. So one of the few examples that we have taken here is the poverty, inequality, right? We have the climate change, we have the education. So everyone has the right to get educated. So education is very important. Now these goals are primarily universal, so that means it applies to all the countries regardless of their GDPs or income level, whatever we are going to talk about. The SDGs are basically they are connected in such a way that they contribute to the progress. Like say for example, if you are trying to cut down the poverty, when you're doing the work on the poverty, it also helps us to bring the equality from inequality. And when we are working on these, it will also indirectly support the climate changes, right? It can reduce that. So there are lots of things that we are going to see. And most importantly, you need to understand this. It primarily focuses on these specific areas, which are ED, that is economic development, SD, which is social development, and EP, which is environmental development. So we have economic, social, and environment. So this is what we need to look. So this is a very small example of our UN SDGs, which I told you, right? No poverty, zero hunger, good health, quality education, up to 17 over here. So these are the goals that we need to achieve by the end of 2030. And if we are able to do that, so we will be able to say that we have a sustainable future. Now, why did you say all this, sir? What is the important? We being engineers, we just, we do the code and all. Now, when you do the coding cases or whatever it might be a data scientist, data analyst, we have our own duty to support it, right? When I'm coding, instead of testing it a day in and day out, I can just utilize a specific time to test it. When we're testing, obviously we know that, right? When you run through a lot of DL models, what happens? A lot amount of GPU is used, a lot of resources are used. These resources means they are using power. So when there is a lot of usage of power, means what? There will be a lot of fossil fuel will be burnt, right? So this is how directly we are connected to each other, just by a simple code. If you're optimizing a code, what will happen there? That is the green skill. This is what you need to have. So green skills promote sustainable development by reducing the environmental impact. So energy management, sustainable materials, environmental compliance, and so on. So this is what we try to look at. Not only that, the SDGs support issues like clean energy, sustainable. Like say for example, if I'm working, right? So what if my company basically tries to use the renewable energy, right, from the solar panels? I can have some amount of solar panels established above the we call this as what do you call the green offices. Okay, so I can establish that, and thereby I can use the clean energy rather than going for my conventional sources, right? So that is one thing. And as you can see here, we have the types of green jobs. So when we look into the jobs, these jobs specifically talk about how well that we are acquainted. So back in old days, we used to have this specific engineering where you have to stick with that. Now it is not like that. We have lots of things where we call them as interdisciplinary. So we have the renewable energy source, we have the energy efficiency, right? You can design energy efficiency, efficient buildings and systems where it can use less amount of fossil fuels and a lot of renewable sources. Environmental managers like waste management, pollution control. So whenever a car, right? So you can, like, as you being an AI engineer or ML engineer, you can design some model saying like whenever a car is pulled near what do you call that the signal, right? So it can automatically cut down the burning of fuel. So that means it has come to stall instead of you doing that. And the moment when these features are already there, but still what I'm saying is that what if it can be done automatically through an AI? So that is where we come up with codes and all. Sustainable agriculture, like if anybody of you are interested towards the agriculture, where I can develop a model that can specifically say like what percentage of biochemical that can be used for a specific plant, right? I can create a model for that, and by creating a single model for many plants, just imagine how much it could help the farmers. Not only that, we have something called as drip irrigation now. So what if there is a sensor that can sense out and give it ample amount of water to maintain the moisture in the soil? So there again, you can just do a simple code for that along with some IoT devices. So there are lots of things that you can do. So green manufacturing. So today, like we know that we have been seeing a lot of electric vehicles that are coming up, right? So those are green manufacturing. Not only that, when you're manufacturing a car, how much energy have you conserved, right, compared to your conventional way? While you're painting a car, right, in the what do you say, a painting shop. So how much energy was conserved, or did you completely use the 100% of energy that was taken from the renewable source, say like solar? So that talks about the green manufacturing. Okay, and this is a very small this like statistics that I want to mention is the median growth of LinkedIn jobs requiring the green skills actually moved up by 15% when we are talking from February 22 to 23 of February. Now by today it would have moved more than 30%. So that is the very reason when you do this project you can just let them know, right, the people who are interviewing you, that we have these green skills. And this is where people are asking, like, if you do not even know that by optimizing a code I can minimize so much of energy, so what is the use of them? So this green skills will help you out in understanding that. So there is a video that I would like to play with.
Why are designers designing stuff that destroys the environment in its making and destroys the environment in its replacement? First of all, we shouldn't be designing these things. Second of all, we could design it with less difficult material, material that was easier to take out and use again in some other purpose, but we don't. We have these wonderful compound materials. We join wood and leather and aluminum and titanium and all this stuff together in a way that can't be taken apart. Even something like a milk carton that we all use, which is made out of cardboard, can't be recycled because it's covered by a plastic. Until we take the plastic off of it, yeah, there are some people who can remove it, but lots of the recycling places cannot separate the plastic from the carbon. Why can't we do better than that? Look, this product may make us a lot of money, but it's evil for the planet. We must change it. We can't do that.
So when he's saying we need to do a lot of changes and all, so what we are expecting here, just as an example, like I guess we have people who are from P4 and P3, right? Projects, garbage classification. So we can develop a model where the model can distinguish between what are plastics, right? So the one which cannot be recycled, the one which can be recycled, just like papers. So a model can identify that. And when we are talking about the identification, these identifications happens in the real time, right? So that is the use of green skills along with artificial intelligence. So this is the reason why you have chosen the skills for future, green skills.
Why are these?
Yeah. So next one is, if you look at this one, design thinking, can it be a catalyst for the sustainable industries? Means, will it help us to have industries that could be sustainable in nature, right? Now, can anyone tell me what you mean by sustainability or sustainable? Does anybody have an idea regarding that? Any idea regarding sustainability, long lasting? Okay, good. So basically what we think about is, yes, that's a very good answer. Doing development taking into consideration of future generations, right? So what we think about, yes, better, good answers, environment friendly, and make sure that our future generations are also given with the resource. Say example, we have some resources that are available with us, and I want to utilize that resource just how much ever I want. And the other part of the resources that I want to keep it for the future generations. Even they have to feel comfortable, be comfortable, right? So that is what is all about the sustainability. Okay, so very good answers from you all. I'm really happy. Yes, resources should not get extended for the future, right? So we look into a lot of things there. Good. So sustainable industry is focused on reducing the environment impact. Okay, so this could be like waste reduction, eco-friendly practices. Okay, instead of using plastics, I think I can resort for something that is pretty much good at being recycled a lot rather than using the plastic. And we have already seen, right? So we have already seen that there are plastics that have been put into oceans, and these aquatic animals, they are consuming that, right? So there is a lot of issues that are running up. So there are a lot of things that are moving up. So there I can do that. So design thinking empowers creative solutions for complex environmental challenges, making sure that we have minimum, negative impacts and maximizing more number of reuses. So that is what we are trying to say. To reduce its environmental footprint by reimagining the product lifecycle. Now, if I have any product and I can use it for only like 1 year, what is the use of it, right? So I have to increase that. And thereby, not only that, I also want to recycle it. So that is one of the few uses. So yes, right, good answer. Yeah, we are having a lot of aquatic animals running into a lot of issues basically, and as being the people with who are taking care of the we have the duty to take care of it. So we should be making sure that these plastics waste are not put into the oceans or into separate lines where animals can consume it. Now comes the examples. Like you might ask me, sir, what are the things that has been happened? You keep on telling us. So this is one thing: sustainability in mechanical engineering. Like I can say Tata Steel, India, right? It is using circular economy in steel manufacturing. So what is this, and how exactly this is going to work? So as you can see here, we are using eco-friendly materials, like using sustainable materials, which reduces the environmental impact, like biodegradable polymers, for example, right? Recyclable materials or recycled materials. So most of you might have seen, usually in the phones they say that 70%, 90%, or even 100% aluminum, recycled aluminum is used. So that is where we get to know that they are running towards the sustainable goals, and we know that Apple by 2030 is going, it says it's going to achieve by 2040. 2035 or 2040 Samsung is going to achieve that. So a lot of things are happening there. And more importantly, we need to minimize the energy consumption, right? So we can use, instead of using coal, so we can go with some green renewable energy sources, right? So there are lots of things that we can do. And more importantly, whenever we scrap a car, so we have these chassis and the outermost body, right? So we can use that, reuse it, and we'll be using it for the remanufacturing. Like it could be of different cases. It may not be again for the car itself, but for different cases. So that is also a good possibility. And as you can see here, for the innovation, let me take the laser point. The plant recycles over 95% of its byproducts, has improved water energy efficiency, and has set targets for carbon neutrality by 2045. Tata Steel has done that. It's going to achieve that. So this is what we are trying to achieve. Next, if we want to talk about the Tesla, so Tesla is as you all know, it's an electric vehicle and renewable energy sources there. So what is the focus that we are doing? So we are looking into sustainable transportation through electric vehicles. How? Through the renewable energy integration. So that means to say I can establish some of the solar panels. From the solar panel, I get the energy. That energy can be used to recharge the car, right? So this is one of the sustainable approaches that we are trying to do. What is the innovation? So the innovation is that they have incorporated the recyclable materials for energy efficient manufacturing. Not only that, the batteries also have something called as recycling programs. Means batteries will be disintegrated. The ones that can be reused, it will be taken and it will be consumed for the next stages. So Tesla's gigafactories are designed for low impact reduction and renewable energy sources, reducing the carbon footprint. As I said, the more amount of carbon footprint is done through the industries by burning, right? More amount of carbon is being generated. So we have to reduce that. So that is what the electric vehicles from Tesla is doing. Yeah, as I said, like Samsung, for example. So Samsung is trying to establish eco-friendly electronics and sustainable productions over there. So this could be anything. So this could be starting from a simple charger to the mobile devices, right? TVs, everything. So how they're trying to achieve it? They're using the recycled eco-friendly materials, reducing the energy consumption in their products. Now Samsung has so many features inside it. If you go through those things, like we, as a small, in a layman language, I will say low power mode, right? So this may sense like you may think that is used to conserve the battery. Yes, conservation of battery is where conservation of energy is there, right? Promote circular cycle. So circular cycle is reuse, reduce, right? Recycle. So that is what is going to happen. Coming to carbon neutrality by 2050. Okay, so this is 2050, not 2040. It's 2050. So Samsung is integrating renewable energy source to its all facilities using water saving techniques in the production, and it is trying to develop eco-friendly packaging so that it can be recycled again and again, right? And this is one of the reasons why many of the smartphones are not given with the chargers also. So yes, as a consumer, we may whine, cry about it by saying like we are not getting that, but just imagine how many charges that could have been saved by just by saving that, how much amount of energy to manufacture them has been cut down, right? So that is one of the beautiful examples. The next one is the key insights from the industry, right, that are actually initiating green technologies. So that includes the renewable energy, energy efficient equipments, water management system, green building design. So whenever you have the green building design, it is nothing but energy efficient buildings. So that basically looks into a lot of savings of the energy as well as environmental benefits. So say like at the top of the house, you have some complete terrace filled with the plants and other things. So what will happen there? They're taking it's going to take care of the oxygen level. So not only that, more amount of sunlight is not let into the building, so thereby keeping the building at the perfect temperature. A lot of things as a small example. So these are called as green buildings. And similarly, investing in the renewable energies like solar, wind, right? So maybe manufacturing, you might say like, sir, manufacturing, so these things like solar panel or windmills will take a lot of energy. Yes, maybe at the initial state, but what happens at the later or the latter part? So we are going to reuse it. So there are consumption and there are some amount of carbon dioxide or any GHGs that might be released, but it will be comparatively less of how it's working. Okay, so that is the reason why we are looking for industry green initiatives. So as you all can see here, we are going for integrating AI and design thinking. So how would it look like? So let me play this one.
Every day, AI helps people with their personal lives, jobs, transportation, education, health, and more, maybe even without them realizing it. Here are some examples of AI in action on a typical day. In the morning, a teenager wakes up and uses facial recognition to unlock her phone. She scrolls through social media feeds to see what's new. Then she asks the voice assistant on her phone what the weather is going to be like that day so she knows how to dress for school. A college student uses an app on his phone to deposit a birthday check from his grandmother. He takes a photo of the check, and the app automatically reads the handwriting to figure out the amount. It then deposits it into his account. Meanwhile, a younger student uses a different app that is teaching her a new language. The app listens to what she says and can recognize what she's saying even if she makes mistakes. The app then gives her personalized feedback on her pronunciation. At the same time, a person gets in their car to go to work, and the navigation system plans the fastest route based on current traffic. In the car, they listen to a music streaming service, which already knows what types of songs they like based on what they listened to before. When a factory worker arrives at her job, she sees that, as usual, humans and robots are both assembling cars. The robots do some of the more dangerous or repetitive tasks, like welding or painting. AI helps the robots recognize the tools they need to pick up or check parts to make sure they have been cut exactly right. When the cars are completed, computers help manage inventory and plan efficient shipping routes to deliver them around the world. Now, meet a farmer who's checking on her crops. She notices that some of her plants look unhealthy. She pulls out her smartphone and uses an app to take a photo of the leaves. The app can detect crop disease and also identify harmful insects. The app identifies the problem and recommends treatment. A surgeon is using AI to help make a medical diagnosis for a patient, and then a robot helps her perform a successful surgery. Afterwards, she goes to visit patients in a nursing home, where robots gently lift seniors in and out of bed and help them move around. In the meantime, a traveler needs to book a flight to another city. An automated customer service chatbot helps him book his ticket on the phone. Once he's on board, autopilot flies the plane for much of the flight. AI is even used in space. On the International Space Station, an astronaut talks to a free-floating robot that helps with chores and does jobs that are risky for humans. Now that you've learned about how other people use AI every day, think about how you use it. Spend a few minutes thinking about this question. What are 3 ways that you or someone you know uses AI? The video you just watched is part of a lesson that helps people learn about AI. To see the entire Discover AI in Daily Life lesson, visit the Applied Digital Skills website. The full lesson discusses some benefits and challenges.
Okay, you can, any of you can just let me know, like, what are the 3 ways that you or someone you know uses AI? Any answers? Finding answers from ChatGPT, good. Solving doubts, good. Using Copilot, yes, to complete assignments, yes, summarization, right? Using AI to enhance photo, smartphone, chatbot, good. Using for development of apps, education, developing apps, solving math, right? Gmail spam classification, good. Yes, 11 Labs, Perplexity, good. So 11 Labs is you basically used for TTS, right? Text to speech. Meta AI, good. Coding solutions, yes. Lots of good ideas and how you're using it. Yes, Google Maps, right? Basically for coding, creating podcast. So you have Chat LM, right? From Google. So that actually helps us. Making PPT, good. For technical development, yes. Perfect, guys, good. So
Every day.
now, I'm going to just give you a little heads up, like what is an artificial intelligence, right? So we may already know this, but still, we have to learn what importance it has. See, if you completely take the artificial intelligence, machine learning is part of it. Means we call it as a subset. So deep learning (DL) is a subset of machine learning. Whereas data science uses the part of deep learning, machine learning also. So if anybody is having any idea regarding like they want to become a data scientist, so you have to learn about the statistics, right? Scientific methods, extracting meaningful informations, finding out insights from the data, right? A lot of things will be there. So that is what a data scientist do. So when you look into the machine learning, so machine learning is basically a subset of AI where it tries to build based on the training data, and it's basically used for the predictions. So in the predictions, we want to predict, say like today it's gonna rain at, okay, so I don't know what the time is. Time is 6:33. So at 7 o'clock, whether it's gonna rain or not. So I want to create my own model to predict the future, like say like after like next month. Okay, so that is the very reason that we are going to develop the machine learning to make the prediction. Deep learning, on the other hand, is actually a subset of machine learning where we have some complex algorithms where it can solve very complicated problems. The problems, say like there was this particular project that I was actually training, which is called as plant disease detection. So there are some specific images of a plant leaf where it has gone through some kind of an attack by a fungi or some kind of a thing, right? So we want to take a picture of it, like as you saw in the video. We'll take a picture of it. The deep learning model analyzes it and tries to tell you that this kind of disease is being present. So it will be really be helpful to us to understand that what I can do for the next. Okay, so once I get to know about the disease, obviously it will be very easy for me to give out some kind of treatment for the plant. So this is how it's going to go. The same thing. Okay, so what happens here is that there is something called as cancer detection. So in the cancer detection, what will happen is that it basically tries to let you know that whether if it has found any lump, right? So whether it is benign in nature or malignant in nature. So this is a classification example, a very good classification example. So that is how we are trying to use the artificial intelligence there. Now, the few of the things that everyone should know, because often we students say that like, sir, will the AI take my job? Will I be like this or not? So this is where you need to understand. So AI can decide if the bulb is working or not. So what happens is that it will have a sensor. When the sensor figures out some rays, right? So it can tell you, but it cannot sympathize with humans and say like, okay, if a baby is crying, it cannot say like, oh, don't cry, I'm going to give you some chocolate, something like that. So sympathizing is not going to happen with that. So you might have seen in some videos that they're going to do that, but that's like they do not have that. So AI is currently basically in the narrow AI. Okay, we do not have the strong AI coming to picture. So that's basically a theoretical subject, right? Differentiate between the drawing of circles and rectangles, so that it can do it, right? Manage a workshop with various different machines, that it can't do. Compare output values of electronic system to a target value, and it cannot basically take a job in a multinational company, right? It's not going to do that. So identify compatibility with familiar machine among various parts, it can do. So sometimes we call them as quality assessment, right? Identify defective products, it can do, but it cannot run a social media account on its own, right? So these are the things that it can do. So how the computer works basically. So that there is there is something called as program. So you're going to explicitly write some programs, and computer is going to understand through a specific language of binary like zeros and ones, right? And it can come up with the answers. So this is how the computer works. But the computer basically needs to have certain sets of software to function properly. Now that is the reason why we are going to go for some different tools that are available for us. So the one tool that you're seeing here is this is TF. TF stands for TensorFlow, right? Scikit-learn, that is nothing but sklearn. Sklearn is a machine learning library. TensorFlow is used for deep learning. Python, right? So that is our programming language. Seaborn, on the other hand, is an advanced version of visualization library, and Anaconda is like kind of a software which can have any kind of an environment that you want. You can use it. Since Anaconda has become like largely being used, you can use the Conda environment to do a lot of things. Okay, so that is one of the examples of it. And similarly, you have Google Colab, Kaggle, right? So that's going to work. So Google Colab, on the other hand, we need to thank Google for the Google Colab, is because we can run the cloud-based platform. So that means to say that even on your mobile phone, you can open collab.google.com and then run the entire DL program. It's going to use the GPU available on the cloud actually, right? So it's not going to take any amount of your internet service or any resources on your mobile phone. So that is one of the important things, and this is how the integration basically starts to happen. Now, on the other hand, what is this green AI and why are we looking into all these things? So green and sustainable AI uses AI and ML technologies to tackle the environmental issues and promote the sustainability. And when we say about the sustainability, that the resources that are present right now should be given to the future generations. By using the AI, we can optimize the resource usages also. And by using this, waste management can be taken care of by like minimizing waste management, waste generations, right? A lot of things can be done. Now, there are a few case studies that we have taken for you to understand, right? So Apple's Daisy robot basically tries to disassemble the iPhones, right? The ones which has been sent out to get dismembered. It basically recovers the valuable material like cobalt, lithium, aluminum, and gold. So the robot can dismantle up to 200 iPhones per hour, ensuring valuable materials are reused, right? And reducing the need for the new resources extraction. Means no extraction of ore or minerals. That is what he's trying to say. And when you look into the Google DeepMind, so Google's DeepMind applied this AI optimization where it was able to achieve 15% in the energy reduction. So how was this happening? Because the ML algorithms which was there was efficient enough to run in such a way that it got to know by using the lesser amount of resources and cooling the servers, right, and lesser amount of energy consumption. When you use the lesser amount, like say for example, if you are using 15 units, if you reduce it at least to 10 units, 5 units you have cut down. So that is actually a very important thing, right? And when you look into the John Deere's AI machinery, so what it does is that it accurately identifies and treats the weeds and pests by just looking at it and minimizes the chemical usages, right, and promoting the sustainable farming. Now, remember one thing when we talk about the sustainable farming, so we might say like, the farmers are using the chemicals from long back. So what is the use of that? Once we apply the chemical onto a farmland, it settles on the land, right? It settles on the soil, and that will be again used by the plants, and we are going to consume that. So a lot of things are happening. Now, just imagine there were to happen a good rainfall there. So the water obviously goes onto that particular soil, extracts those chemicals, and it might get into some kind of a pond or a river. Look at that. So how exactly it is like, moving up. So how exactly is the AI project cycle? How it's going to move? So first we need to identify the problem. This process is called as problem identification. So we define the problem and we'll take the help of the stakeholders. We engage them so that their insights and requirements will be taken care of. Once it is done, what we're going to do is that we go for the next step called as data collection. So we are going to acquire the data or collect the data, and we'll try to put them to the training AI models, right? It could be structured, it could be unstructured. So there are lots of things that's going to happen. And more importantly, we need to assess the data here. So whether the data is having any good quality or the completeness of the data is there. Like lots of missing values there, what's going to happen? So you cannot train the model in a right way. So next is data exploration. So in the data exploration, we will basically try to see data pre-processing, means which is called as cleaning, preparation, feature selection, right? So a lot of things going to happen. So process the collected data to remove any missing values, for example, or if you want to normalize or standardize it, we're going to do that. So that is pre-processing. Next is model development. So you try to choose an algorithm. Now, if I ask you like if there is a regression problem, so students will usually go for linear regression. If there's a polynomial, then they will go for polynomial regression. So some of you might even go for random forest regressor. So why? Because through your experience, you have looked into the algorithms, how well they work. When people say that random forest, they know that if there is any overfitting, random forest will actually take care of it. So that is the very reason often it is used a lot, right? So that is choosing the algorithm. And model training. So you have to train the model based on the pre-processed data. So this involves huge, feeding of the data to the model, adjusting the parameters. We call it as hyperparameter tuning. And why do we need this? Because to minimize the error. So as much as possible, we're going to reduce that. And last important thing is model evaluation. So model evaluation has two parts. One is testing, one is validation. Now imagine testing is something like you have a test, right? So you have learned something and then you're going to test test how much you have learned. Okay, so this is going to happen at the end. What is validation? Validation happens in the model evaluation while it is getting trained also. Like say for example, I teach you math in the morning, say like 9 to 11. So immediately after 11, I'll give you a unit test, right? So that like I want to know how much you have learned in that particular while I was training you. So this is validation. So you need to understand the specific differences between them. So once the model evaluation is done, there is other part of it here which we are going to call it the deployment. So what is deployment? I have trained the model, right? And why did I train the model? Because this model can be used in the real world applications. That is the reason why I did it. So this part where you take the model and put that into the real world application is called as deployment. So you're going to do that. And lastly, once you deploy it, you cannot simply think that, okay, my job is done, I'm not going to do anything. No, you have to maintain it, right? It's called as maintenance. It's called as maintenance. You have to do that. So that is what we're going to, this is the entire AI project cycle. Now, how am I going to use AI and design thinking? Whether do they go hand in hand or not, right? So there are lots of commotions, the problems that we can actually see, like say enhanced idea generations. I can ask one of the LLMs, right? It could be Llama, it could be DeepSeek, to give me some kind of an idea. So taking that idea from the artificial intelligence, I can basically come up with some newer versions of my models. So design thinking will be elevated, right? My way of thinking and my way of designing is actually moving up. Informed decision making. So AI basically analyzes the diverse data sources that are available, like including the patterns. It could be design decisions, whether it is going to align with the user or not. So I can create some agents there to do those things. Next is rapid prototyping. So rapid prototyping in a layman language is something like I want to immediately have an idea of the real model. So that is called as prototyping. So I can do that. So nowadays you have 3D printers, right? So we have something called as stereolithography. So we can use all those things to have rapid prototyping and test it in the real world cases. And I get to know like, okay, so this is what I thought, but obviously I think I could change here or there, right? Or otherwise you might be very satisfied with your own modeling. So that is one of the things. So these are the things that you need to, where the artificial intelligence really helps us to move up the way of design thinking. So coming for the last part, that is unit 4, is sustainable ideas. So what is the sustainable idea? So do we have, like, as I said, waste sorting using computer vision? Now, as you all can see here, now there is this robotic arm. So you might say like, sir, robot is working, what is there? No. Just behind this robot, there's a brain, right? A model is there. The model is basically trying to separate the plastics and the paper cups here. So this is where your models or the projects like garbage classification, e-waste classification, they all come into picture, and they will help you out by optimizing the model that you already have in your hand. And there is another one. So this is predictive maintenance. Now, what is this predictive maintenance? So this is a recycling plant in Sweden. They have used this computer vision. I think you know CV. CV stands for computer vision, which has actually used CNN model. So CNN stands for convolution neural network, where it is able to sort out the plastic materials, as I've already told you. And similarly, it is also trying to reduce the 15% of reduction in the power also. So there was this particular maintenance guy who used to go there every week and try to check everything, right? So instead of that, if you are going to use AI there, so predictive maintenance can be cut down, right? So that is also one possibility, one idea that you can look at. Now, next one is having some kind of like we have the farmers, right, in the rural India. Collaborating with some AI companies, they can implement crop yield prediction. So we also have a project which we did in our previous classes actually, where it's going to talk about the crop yield prediction. So what is the crop that you want and how much it's going to yield after like a month or days. So we can predict it. Based on that, I can just take care of my what do you call the logistics, right, as well as the houses where we are going to store, like storage houses, and what is the demand. So everything I can predict. And not only that, so we can use these drones to capture the images while it is moving up, and it can identify if there are any plants having any kind of diseases, so that I can intervene myself, or maybe the AI can intervene in between and spray some what do you say, biochemicals there, right? So a lot of things can happen. Coming for energy efficiency, which is called as smart buildings. So smart buildings, like there is one specific example if I want to give you. It's a Singapore, in Singapore, where they have implemented AI based energy management system, which uses something called as HVAC or HVAC, which is called as heating, ventilation and air conditioning. So this basically has reduced their energy consumption by 20%. By 20%, they have been able to reduce the energy consumption just by using the AI in their smart buildings. Now just imagine, by like taking care of heating, ventilation and air conditioning, if they have done that, what about the other aspects of energy consumption, right? It could be through lift, it could be through elevator, escalator, right? Yeah, escalators, and other operating costs and other things that are associated with them. So a lot of things that can be done with the help of AI to reduce them. And the coming for the last slide, where we will try to look into is redesign challenge. So analyze where if you have already done with something, like you have done a water bottle, or if you have done a square book or anything, try to think in a way that if redesigning that could yield more probability of working well or not. And whatever the design you thought, when I talked about ABCD, try to focus on the sustainability, whether it's going to help you or not. Incorporate the AI features. Like I just utilized a few pieces of paper or a single paper and try to think of it, like probably in my mind. But what if I can use AI and I can do it, right? So this is one of the small challenge that you can do it by yourself, how well AI can play a part and how you did your part. So that's one of the things. There is one thing, this I think you can take this as a small work, you can carry it. Sustainable ideas. Try to identify the real world problem relevant to one of the SDGs. So totally we have 17 SDGs, right? So out of 17 SDGs, you can pick any SDG. Okay, so like zero hunger, for example. And how this can be achieved? Try to think of that. And can I use AI to do that? Think about that, right? So this is one of the hands-on sessions that you can do it by yourself, and you can let me know probably in the chat section, right? In the WhatsApp group or in the Telegram group. You're always welcome to share your view there. You can help us out. So yes, think globally, act locally, right? And coming for the conclusion part, design thinking is a human-centered. Look at this, it's a human-centered, focusing on empathy and creativity. Drives the sustainable industries, making sure it is having innovative solutions, right? And we need to balance environmental, social, and economic needs. So integrating AI enhances the design thinking. Apply design thinking with AI principle to foster innovation and sustainable future industries. Now, let us have, like, I think I have a few questions here. I really hope that you all can answer this Q&A. Okay, so I'm going to go and start with the question. Please try not to use the chat GPT or any other LLMs that you have there. Okay, try to answer by yourself. So there goes your question. First question is, what is the primary focus of design thinking? Profit, human-centered, technological, market research. So you can simply say like A, B, C, or D. Okay, good. So we are getting lots of B answer. Okay, so what is the question? The question is, what's the primary focus of design thinking? You design thinking, as I've underlined, it is basically human-centered problem solving, right? So, okay, so there are some different answers also. So next question, look at this. Which sustainable development goal focuses on affordable clean energy? So I don't know whether you were able to look into that or not. So is it SDG 7, 3, 9, or 12? No idea. Okay, even that's a good answer, right? Because the slide where I could not pass it, it was a GIF file and it was moving. Okay, so we will see it is SDG 7. So the answer is SDG 7 focuses on affordable and clean energy. Okay, so kindly be aware of this answer. So it might be asked in any of the part of your interviews there when you say you have green skills, they might ask you. Next question, which of the following is popular Python library for machine learning? So I think I have told you both in the class as well as here. So you can say the answer here. Which of the following is a popular Python library for machine learning? So for machine learning, that is ML library is scikit-learn, right? So we have scikit-learn. The answer is D. Next question, which phase comes first in the AI project cycle? Okay. Which phase comes first? Is it deployment? Is it data preparation? Is it problem definition? Is it model evaluation? Now, when you look at this, I cannot deploy something where I don't know what it is. I do not know the problem without I cannot prepare the data. So it is C. Okay. The first step is always C. Once you define the problem, you will prepare the problem. So that is C, B, and you will do the model evaluation. I mean, I'm based on these things. And last one will be A. Okay. So we're going to define the problem. Good. The next one is, I guess this is the last slide. Which of the following describes the role of data science in decision making? It replaces human intuition entirely. It provides insights through data analysis, guiding informed decisions. It focuses solely on data collection without analysis. It is only applicable to large corporations. Okay, so I can see some of you, or majority of you are voting for B here. What does B say? B says it provides insights through data analysis, guiding informed decisions. So the right answer is B. Okay, so let me stop sharing my screen and come back to the chat. Okay, so here it goes. Huh. Yes. Yeah, just a second. Don't type anything. I'll give you the mic. Don't type anything, guys. Meeting option. Where is mic? Yeah, allow mic for attendance. So whoever has doubts, kindly unmute yourself and talk. I cannot see the chat. Kindly unmute and talk. Yes.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, so my doubt is that in WhatsApp, we got a message in which a week one milestone has to be submitted in 22nd. So, sir, I have submitted the assignment and the milestone and the assignment are the same or the different?
Milestone and assignments, they are all same. So what you need to do is that you need to take your Git link and put that in your repo. Your LMS.
Yes, sir. I have already done this.
That's it. Nothing more.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Next.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, sir, I was asking that the dataset provided by you, if I analyze according to your means the codes you gave for analyzing it in VS Code or any other platform similar to it. So, if I analyze it, is the similar way that you did, and if I submit that GitHub link to the assignment page, will that be okay?
I mean, you are doing it on your own, right? The code might be same.
Yes.
Yeah, that can be done. Don't try to give my Git link. Okay, that will be disqualified.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just a second. If anybody, if there are students who do not have any questions, kindly mark your self-attendance and you can leave. No issues. Okay. So thank you for attending the session. Okay. Take care of yourselves. The others can ask me questions if you have any.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello. Am I audible, sir?
You are audible.
So I had a doubt. So I have submitted the assignment, but the whole code I have run that on Visual Studio. So is that okay? So that file is .py, that Python file. So is that okay?
See, it is all right. Okay. So if you have run the code, whatever I have taught you, that is more than sufficient. So that is okay. No issues.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Any other questions? Anyone?
Hello, sir. I'm Pius. Sir, I'm a dot where I submit the assignment 1 in LMS. There is one option available, weekly assignment 1.
So which project do you belong to?
Sir, water prediction, water quality prediction.
See, I have made it live for everyone. Okay, so I have chosen the people till today. I have added them to the group. Kindly clear your browser cache and try to check with it. And if you still have the issues, you can take a screenshot and show that to me, and I can raise a ticket for you on the technical team.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
You are audible. Go ahead.
Sir, I'm trying to build another model, not regarding this our projects. Basically, it is analyzing or summarizing the WhatsApp chat or kind of charts, and it investigates any crime is involved against anything. So, what are your suggestions and inputs regarding what are the models should I use, sir?
See, we are basically sticking to the AICTE internship, what we are doing. Okay, so unfortunately, I cannot give you any other heads up. But one thing that I will try to tell you is make sure that you use very good NLP or sentiment analysis there, and that can help you out regarding what are the crime that you want to figure out, or the project you want to do. Okay, so that's what I can say right now.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So others,
Hello, sir.
try to stick with the project what you have. Okay.
Sir, am I audible?
You are audible.
Sir, which platform we can choose for this execution of code?
Your environment is free. Whatever you like it, you can do that. If it is Jupyter Notebook, go with Jupyter Notebook. If you have Jupyter Lab, you can go with Jupyter Lab or VSC or Kaggle or Google Colab. You can use anything you want. No issues with it.
Okay, sir, but after execution, should we attach images or something for that?
Right now, you do not have anything of that sort. Okay, so don't worry about it. So all you got to do is for the week 1 is to simply submit the GitHub link. Again, the same thing for week 2. And coming for week 3 would be a little bit more different. So that's the reason why I'm trying to keep that for the last. Okay, in the last, I'll try to explain week 3. I will explain it in the week 3. Don't worry.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Can I mention this project in LinkedIn profile and my resume?
Sure, you're more than welcome to share that. But actually, you have to do that. But do that once you get an idea or get hold of the project. Okay, you can do that, and you can say that you have not only did the project on whatever the project name is. You can say that you have acquired the green skills by how much and how, like what algorithm you have used, and also try to explain a little bit more things so the people who are looking at your post might try to if there are any opportunities that are available, they will appreciate that.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm currently a novice in machine learning. So, sir, can we get a roadmap related to that, sir?
See, for those who are starting with the machine learning, try to learn Python first. And if possible, if you are good, try to learn the math, especially linear algebra and statistics. And later you can go with the machine learning, basics of machine learning. So there are lots of YouTube videos that are available. Or if you're comfortable with Hindi, you can, you have Krishna Nayak, right? So a lot of people are there, you can go with it. Or if you want to have even MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technologies also have given a lot of beautiful courses that are freely available, you can go with that. But my first suggestion is try to learn Python, math, and then go to try to learn the machine learning.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can I use any module and library to run the code, or it is restricted?
I mean, like you are asking me, like you have to use the library. Library or module is basically given to you to run certain things. If you have NumPy and if you want to use NumPy for data manipulation, it cannot work because NumPy basically stands for numerical Python, which handles matrices, arrays of n dimensions. So you cannot use different libraries or modules for everything. So it is specific to the work. Yes, Andrew NG courses are also really good. You can use that. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, go on.
So I had submitted my project yesterday. Is there some way to get feedback regarding how the project?
No, you won't get any feedback. Even we will not be able to check whether you have submitted or not. So the moment when you're done with the week 3, right? So you will get an idea like how well you performed in the week 1 and week 2. So that is how you can just look at it.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Sir, we have to make our own GitHub repository and post the project there and then share that link on the submission space.
Exactly. You have to do the same thing what you have told. You have to create your own GitHub. If anybody is using my GitHub for their submission, they will be disqualified. So kindly be careful about that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. The person who's been asking, can we do 2 internship at TEDUNET? Yes, you can do it, but like if you are in the skills for future and if you're also doing text action, that is okay, but you need to have some time for that and you can do it. But the person who has chosen water quality cannot choose greenhouse gas or e-waste or carbon. Okay, this is only one at a time. Okay, so hope I was able to help you out with that. Is there any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yes, go on.
Sir, I have a question. Like, we are using a regression model in the codes which you have given us. So, can we use other models like other ones which are there to do the coding?
If you know how the regressors work, you can use it. If you know SVR, try to use it. If you know RFR, you can use it. No issues. You can use it.
Okay, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So we have got a message that you can submit your assignment on 22nd.
22nd. Okay, who gave you the message? Like, is it Nikita?
Yes, Nikita.
Okay, so then it will be 22nd.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. No, unmute and talk yourself. No need to raise your hands. Okay, you can just unmute and talk yourself. I have given mic for everyone, guys. Students, I have given mic for everyone. Kindly unmute and talk.
Sir, I'm unable to see any kind of message or send any kind of message in this.
Regarding the last date of submission?
No, sir. In this meeting, I'm unable to send any kind of message.
I don't know. Some of the students, they might experience that. Maybe that you might have joined through the browser, not through the Teams app or something like that. That happens. Okay. But other than that, you can let me know if you have any queries. I can help you out. Okay, then I guess that's it. Let's wind up then.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, I'm not in the WhatsApp group. I didn't receive the link. How to join?
Kindly ask Nikita or any of your friends who have joined, they can give you the link. Okay, any students who have the link, kindly share it with the person who's asking it. Or otherwise, you can directly ask Nikita. She will help you out regarding that. Are you in the Telegram group?
Yes, sir.
Then Nikita has already shared the WhatsApp group link even in the Telegram. But anyway,
sir, I just joined yesterday.
Okay, so since you have joined a little late, kindly ask Nikita about that in the Telegram. She will be sending you that, so you can be on both WhatsApp as well as Telegram.
Good evening, sir. Sir, do we have to mark attendance for today?
Yes, that's what I said. You have to mark your attendance. You will be marking only for 3 days in a week, right? One for mentorship. The second one is for AMA, that is Ask Me Anything, and the third one is for the master session.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
So the data that you have provided is the CRC. So we can't do the data visualization for that.
You're talking about water quality prediction?
Yes.
Okay, you can do that. See, that will be the improvisation. Sometimes what we do is that we want to see how students work on their own. So that's the reason why I have not done EDA visualization. So why don't you do the EDA visualization by your end and say like, this is the improvisation I did. Like, I got to know a lot of things. So share that, and that can be an advantageous hand to you, right? You can do that.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Sir, whether we have to use DB scan under unsupervised learning or not?
Why did you go for a DB scan? I mean, we are not doing any unsupervised there. It's all a prediction that is supervised.
Actually, I mean water quality predictions, sir. So that's
we are not doing any unsupervised learning there. It's completely supervised learning, which comes under regression, and that too we are using a wrapper there. The unsupervised learning is not there. Unsupervised is where you do not have any labels. Do you really see that any data set having no labels there? Everything has labels.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
So on our LMS portal, there is one window called assessment. So what is that related to, and what will be said on that?
Whatever you have called as assessment, I think it's not to you. Okay, that is not related or having any kind of thing to you. So don't worry about it. At the bottom, you will be getting something like week 1 submission. Okay, so you can just call. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
So I'm telling that on week 4 there will be a classes regarding Ninter or any Ask Me Something like classes.
We had it yesterday, right? Ask Me Anything. That is where you will be able to talk to your trainer one-on-one along with your friends, of course. Did you not join yesterday?
Yes, I joined yesterday.
Oh, then what is your question?
So my question is that in this week on 4th day, means like 23, we have a class or like something like Ask Me Something.
23 you have mentorship. It repeats. 16th you have mentorship. 19th you had AMA. 20th today we have master session. The same thing is going to repeat on the next week. Again you will have mentorship where you will be talked about code. You will be taught about the code, how to use it, what the code does, right? And you will try to solve it probably on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday again you will come like you might say like, sir, I didn't understand this part. Could you help me out? So that is the AMA. That is Ask Me Anything session. Thursday, and again on Friday you will have a different master session. So it's going to repeat for 3 weeks.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Can we use different data set?
No, you cannot use different data set. Data set is mandatory to be used. What I have shared you.
Sir, I have taken garbage classification and data set which. Hello.
Yes, tell me.
Sir, I have taken garbage classification and data set I have provided which is not full.
Yeah, she will provide you with a new one. And also I heard that she wanted you to take pictures, right, to create your own data set. That is what she told. But however, I tried to contact Dulari regarding a data set if there is complete data set that is available. Okay, so she might be helping. Okay, you have to use the same that has been provided.
Okay, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I have already enrolled in this course during February month, and now I have again enrolled in this course. And when I go to the LMS portal, I think the portal is not updated. When I download the offer letter, it is also from 24th Feb to March, and also all the projects data set all are not available to submit my current project.
What's your name?
Help me to update the LMS portal for me, sir.
What's your name?
Sorry, sir.
What is your name?
Hema.
Hema, what you do is that contact Nikita regarding this. Tell her that the old portal has been, old schedule has been also been there, so that the technical team can work on it. Okay. So meanwhile, try to share her your complete name, your email address, so that it will be easy for her to change the setting. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
I'm audible, sir.
You are audible.
Sir, can you explain me about the week one assignment, sir, of e-waste management?
Of the
E-waste management, sir.
you need to talk about that to your mentor. Your mentor is Dr. Dulari Bhatt, right? So you need to talk to her because I'm handling different projects.
Okay,
so
sir.
you can just ping her, or you can ask that in the group. She will help you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you send your your GitHub link, because there are no chat section open? So can you send it to our WhatsApp group?
Yeah, I have already sent it. Okay, probably I think you might have registered a little late. I'll try to repost it. Don't worry.
Yes.
Sir. Yes.